Amazing. Moshe, I have to remind myself that I'm catching rainbows in Israel.
Yeah.
Okay, this is, you know what I'm saying? I fished all over the world. Alaska, you don't have to remind yourself. Wilmot, you don't have to remind yourself.
Nope.
When you're in Israel catching rainbows, you need to remind yourself that you're in Israel catching rainbows.
100%.
Now, I got a feeling your fish is a lot bigger, and that's okay. I'm going to try to get mine off first, and then we're going to get yours off. And you know what? I think they're both hooked lightly, which is awesome. Actually, let's see for the camera, just to tease them. Hopefully our lines won't break. If you can bring it in close and just lift it up, and we'll turn to the camera, just so we get here. Big smile. It's like, look, Ma, we're catching fish. We're like little kids here. Okay, I'm going to get it back in.
Beautiful.
And then get the hook out. Hey, my hook came out. That's perfect.
Beautiful.
Let's see if my fish just took off. And if you can work that over here, I'll just grab the spinner. He might still got lots of fight. He might even get off here. There. Come on. The little hooks really hold. Perfect.
Beautiful.
There he goes. Yeah, the one thing about these spinners, you know, the hooks are small, and usually the companies rig the lures proportionally. So if it's a small lure, small hook. I find that a small hook holds much better than a bigger hook.
Interesting.
And I'll give you the example. One of my favorite fish to angle for in salt water, probably #1, is the tarpon. And I fish for them in different parts of the world. I used to have a home in Florida for 10 years, Boca Grande Pass, you know, where they get the world's highest concentration of tarpon in May, June, and July. And lately we've been fishing Cuba. Sometimes we tie a fly on a #2 hook, which is a lot bigger than this, but only about this big. And you get tarpon up to 100 pounds.
Wow.
I don't know what's wrong with these fish. They can eat, you know, 2-3 pound fish, and they see this little fly, and they hit it. But when you get that hook, that little hook in a tarpon, he can jump 10-15 times. They shake their head so violently that you hear the gill rakers rattle. Wow. And they lose all their scales because they bend back so much. All the scales come flying off back here, but they can't throw the hook. You use a bigger hook, like a 5 to 7/0, which a lot of fishermen use, and the hook is so big that it actually makes a hole and then falls out. So very, very interesting.
Interesting.
Well done. You know what? I could probably stay here another hour or two, but I think we need to exercise a little bit. So I'm going to rely on your guiding. So we're going to hit some of the river spots. Are we okay with sandals and shoes? We don't need waders.
I think we'll be fine. We don't need waders.
Okay. We're going to have a lot of competition, a lot of steelheaders. No shoulder to shoulder in Israel. You're laughing.
That's one thing we're not going to have.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
One day maybe we will.
Okay, so let's get going.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Dickies, guaranteed workwear since 1922. Lucky Strike, more fish bite with a Lucky Strike.
You know, 2,000 years ago, this was a common sight, a shepherd and a sheep. And here in Israel, there's lots of sheep and goats, believe it or not. But look at the sparse vegetation that they have to feed on. So the shepherds would have to cover a lot of terrain. And a lot of times, the shepherds would take the sheep where they could feed, and they would be out day and night for many days, especially on the hillsides. So you can see here, he's probably leading these sheep back to where he's going to be living. And the sheep don't have much to feed on, so they got to cover a lot of territory, just sparse grass, because really a lot of the area here in Israel was desert and still is today. But today there's a lot of irrigation, and they've got beautiful vegetation growing and all kinds of produce and so on.